everyone, I'm Lucia from Lucia Life. Welcome to a new tutorial video. I was asked to do a tutorial how to create custom content paintings for The Sims 3 using already existing frames that might come from the game itself or custom content. To create your own paintings, you're going to need The Sims Resource Workshop, any Photoshop you have installed in your computer. I'm going to be using the portable CS6 Photoshop. You're going to need pictures either of your Sims or pictures you have found online to add to the frames. And let's start with the tutorial. The first thing we're going to do is open the Sims Resource Workshop. And once it loads, you will see this screen. You're going to go to Create New Project. Now from here you have two options to open your frame depending on whether it is from the game, it comes from the game, or it is a CC frame. So I'm going to show you both ways to open it. The way you change the paintings works the exact same way no matter what frame you choose to work with. If you want to work with a frame that comes with the game or an expansion pack, you're going to select Object, go to Next. Here you're going to wait for everything to load. You're going to head over to the core and you're going to scroll until you see paintings and posters. Here every single poster from, I'm going to open this a little bit more, every single poster from the game appears here. So you just have to choose the one you prefer to work with. So let's say I want to work with this one. I'm going to click on it and then click Next. Here you can add the name project, a title, a description. You can change these later. It doesn't really matter if you do it now or you decide to do it later on. So I'm going to do it later. I'm going to click Next and hit OK. Once the frame has loaded, what you're going to see is this. The workshop will open the project tab right away. You're not going to change anything from here unless you really want to. Basically, all of these options will tell your game where to store your frame. So basically where you're going to find it in buy mode. So you can change it if you want to. I personally won't change anything from here. You can also change the price. And here's where you can change the description and the name. The most important thing and what this tutorial is about is changing textures. We're going to go and click Textures, and this is what you're going to see. From here, the only thing we want to change is the overlay. But you will see right here at the top that you might have multiple options for the same painting. Depending on how many different pictures you want to add, you may have to delete some of these. I'm gonna, for example, only change one. So I'm gonna delete the rest. I really don't want them here and they just make my file size bigger and therefore my game runs slower. And we really don't want that, especially when it's just a frame that I can change it later on in game. But let's say we want to add two different pictures, right? So we're gonna go with the first one, and what we're gonna do is select Overlay. You will see that these will turn green right here at the top right corner. You're gonna click Edit. This window will appear, and from here you're gonna go and click Export. Here you can name you can change the name if you want to. I'm gonna put base just to know that this is the original picture, and here I'm gonna select the extension of the file. I'm gonna select PNG and I'm gonna save it. Click accept. And from here, open Photoshop. I'm going to go to File, Open, and we're going to open the base file that we just saved, as well as a picture that we want to replace the original with. From here, I'm going to head over to the picture that I want to add. I'm going to select it. Ctrl+C, copy, Ctrl+V, paste on the base picture. And here, what I'm going to do is resize it using the Free Transform tool. What do we need to do? We need the picture that we just pasted to fit right over the original picture, making sure that we're not going on top of other things like this here, which is the back of the frame, or these other little pieces. So all we're going to do is just paste it and make sure it goes right on top of the original picture. So there we go. Now that we have it there, I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to name the picture with the name of the character that I'm using. You can name it however you want. And I'm going to save it as a PNG file. I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to minimize Photoshop. I'm going to go right back to the Sims Resource Workshop, and from here we're going to click Import. You're going to look for the image that you just saved. For me it's this one, and I'm going to hit Open. Here I'm going to keep everything the way it is, click Continue, and as you can see it replaced the image here. I'm going to click Done, and here we go. Now we have a picture of my sim on the frame. Okay, so now that everything's done, we're going to do the exact same with the next picture. We're going to select our second picture, but in this case I'm not going to export the base picture because it is the exact same one as the one we used before. So what I'm going to do is minimize Workshop again, open Photoshop, and I'm going to open a different image. And again, I'm going to do the exact same that I did before. I'm going to copy the picture, paste it. I'm going to delete the layer from the other picture because we don't need that, and it's just going to make the file bigger. And I'm just going to minimize the picture of my Sims until it fits right here. Okay, so now that's done, I'm going to go again, File, Save As. I'm going to click PNG, and I'm going to name the file again with a different name. Click on Save and minimize Photoshop. And here we're going to do what we did before. We're going to click on Overlay, Edit, and this time we're going to just click on Import, and we're going to import the image that we just saved. Continue. Here we can see that it replaced the old one, and we're going to click on Done. And here we go. We have our second picture right here. Something that I personally like to do, but this is just an option, you don't have to do this yourself, is changing the pattern of the frame already in the workshop. Why? Usually create a pattern in BIMO takes a really long time to load. So I really don't want to deal with that when I just want to change the texture, let's say from one picture to another, maybe when I have already placed the frame. So what I do is just select a different frame that I might use more often. And for that, what I do is scroll down to Patterns and click on Pattern A. You're going to see that B and C might be disabled, and that's because in this particular frame it only has one channel to change the color of, so that's Pattern A. I'm going to click on Edit, and here what I'm going to do is click on this little folder. Here what you're going to see is every single texture that comes in the game. So this is what loads when you click on the change texture icon on BIMO. What I usually do is just select miscellaneous and select a solid color, white color, and click on done. Then I click on done again, and as you can see, now I have a white frame. This does not take a long time to load, so that's why I prefer it. You can change here, you can change the color if you want to. If you want to make it pink, here's where you can do it. You can also select wood or pattern or anything you like. I'm gonna do the same for both. So here I'm gonna go again, Pattern A, Edit, select a little folder. Here you can see wood, theme, rock, stone. If you want a wood, you can select one. For example, let's go with this one. Here you can see a wooden frame. I'm gonna make it miscellaneous solid color again, just so it loads easier and my project is not as heavy. Now that you are done uploading the pictures, there are a couple of steps that you need to follow in order to save this frame. The first thing that I do is go again to Textures, Overlay, select it, click Edit, and this time I'm gonna select this little folder icon that says Browse. I'm gonna click on it, and here you're gonna see all the images that are part of this project. If it is custom content frame, you will also see the mask, multiplier, or the specular in here. In this case, since it is a frame from the game, that doesn't appear, but as you can see, what we have are the pictures that we uploaded. The important thing here is to check that there aren't any duplicate images, because those duplicate images will make the total size of the file bigger, and that's something that we don't want. It's gonna make it harder for the game to load it. In general, if we have a lot of custom content that has a lot of images that we don't need, it's just gonna make our game slower. No one wants that. So in this case, as you can see, we have a duplicate image here. So what we're gonna do is select one of them, right click with the mouse and click remove. Do you really want to remove this item? Yes. And we're gonna click OK. We're gonna close this. Now we're gonna click on the project tab, and here is where we're gonna change the name of the project. We're gonna select name, click on the three dots right here, and write a name, whatever you want. I'm just gonna write the name of my Sims. We're gonna click copy to all, then save. And we're gonna do the exact same thing for the description. I'm gonna write my name here. You can write whatever you want in the description. And something that I like to do, you don't need to do it, but I like to do is change the price. This way it will make it easier to place this frame on a household and not have to pay a lot for it. I'm not going to change anything else. Now what I'm going to go is click edit, project contents. So as you can see, again we have everything that this file contains. I'm going to select everything, right click on the mouse, renumber, and here I'm going to click on second instance, make random, and click OK. I'm going to click no. I'm going to say no. The reason why we're doing this is because this is going to change the numbers of the file. And I click OK. And by doing that, what's going to happen is that if you want to have two copies of the same frame but with different pictures, they won't overlap. They won't override one another, which tends to happen when you want to just change the textures but use the same mesh. Another thing that I always check, in this case probably we won't have anything because this is a frame that comes from the game, but I'm gonna select mist, lights, click on the three dots, and you want to make sure that these occluders are empty. If something appears, just click on it and click the minus to delete it. You want to make sure that this is empty. I'm going to click OK. And now we're going to save it. So if you want to save the project, what you're going to do is select File, Save As, and here just write whichever name you prefer. I've already saved it, so I'm going to save it as tutorial and just click Save. Now to export your frame so you can install it in your game, the Sims Resource Workshop gives you two options. You can either export it as a Sims 3 pack or as a package file. You just have to follow different steps in order to be able to save it. If you want to export this frame as a Sims 3 pack, what you're going to do is click File, Export to Sims 3 pack. Here you can write your information, you can put your name, your website. I'm going to click OK. And here I'm just going to write a name for my my Sims 3 pack file. I'm going to click Save. Now I'm going to minimize the Sims 3 workshop, and here you have the Sims 3 pack file. If you want to export it as a package file, what you're going to do is go to Edit, Project Contents, and here you're going to click Export to Package. Here again, you're going to write your details, your name and your website. You're going to click OK, and here you're going to write a name and click Save. I'm going to close this, minimize this window, and here we have our package file. Now let's say I want to open a custom content frame, one that I have found online. I download it, I like it, but I want to add my own pictures to it. So instead of going to Object, what I'm going to do is go to New Import, click Next, and here click on Browse, go to the place where you have your package or Sims 3 pack file with the frame that you want. I'm going to open a frame that I created, and I'm going to go and hit Open. Is this a Sims 4 package? No. And click Next. Here again you can change the project name, title or the description. I'm not going to change anything now, so I'm going to click next. Okay, wait for it to load. Now I want to show you some things using the frame that I created. As you can see, this particular frame allows you to have 3 pictures in the same object, and as well as 2 different patterns, one for the frame and one for the base. But what I want to show you is actually on the overlay. So I'm gonna actually select the one that I wanted to change. So this one, I'm gonna click on overlay, edit, and I'm gonna export the file. And in this case, I'm gonna save it as a DDS. I'm gonna open the DDS file. I'm gonna click no, and this is what I wanted to show you. In this particular frame, as you can see, you have 2 pictures that are upright, but one of the pictures is upside down, but here it shows upright. This is something that you have to have in mind when you are placing your images. Sometimes it is very rare if it is a frame that comes from the game, but if it is a custom made one, this might happen. A picture might have to be placed upside down in order for it to show upright. What you need to do in this case is actually the exact same that we did before. So I'm going to show you the process again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Going to edit, make it smaller. And I'm going to put it right on top of the other one. Here is what I wanted to show you. When you are changing it, what you want to do is go and click on Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical. But also what I do is then flip horizontal. I do that so that the picture looks exactly like the original picture, otherwise it's going to be flipped. And I'm going to open this one. Let's say this is a picture that I found on the internet, and I want to add it to my frame with the pictures of my Sims. So again, this is too big. I'm going to actually do something. Yes. Because that was too big. Make it so that it fits right in here. And here we have 3 pictures in one. We're gonna go to File, Save As. And in this case, I'm gonna save it as a DDS. Like I said, this is gonna be called Emmy, which is the baby's name. I'm gonna click on Save, and I'm gonna save it as a DXT5. Why am I saving it as a DDS instead of a PNG? It really doesn't make a difference. The only difference that you will notice is that the DDS files are a little bit smaller than the PNG files. It does make the whole size of the file smaller, which is great, but you need to install an extension in order to save images of DDS. But it's the exact same thing. You don't need to install it. You can do everything as PNG. I'm gonna click on Edit, Import, and I'm gonna select the DDS file that I just saved. I'm gonna click on Done. Do you want to replace the current texture? In this case, I'm gonna click No. Why? Because I don't want the previous images to disappear. They are from another file. So there we go. Now we have all 3 pictures on this frame. There's one more thing I want to show you, and that is how to give the shape of the frame to your pictures. And for that, I have loaded this custom frame with the shape of hearts. I'm going to follow the step that we did before, exporting the image as PNG, then opening it in Photoshop with the images I want to add. I'm going to copy and paste it before using the free transform tool to resize it. I'm going to change the opacity for a moment to be able to see through the picture and check that the image fits the exact way I want to. And to give the shape of hearts to this picture, you're going to hide the layer of your image and select layer 0. I'm going to use the quick selection tool to select the heart, then unhide your image layer, select it, go on top of your image with your mouse, right click on it, and click on select inverse. And now we're going to delete and press Ctrl D to deselect everything. I'm going to repeat the process with the other 2 pictures. And once that's done, I'm going to save it as a PNG file and import it to the frame in Workshop as I showed you earlier on the tutorial. Do you want to replace the current texture? In this case, yes, because I don't want the image with the grey hearts to be part of the project anymore. And here's a heart-shaped frame with the pictures. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope that you found it helpful and you enjoy it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you have a beautiful day and Happy New Year. Bye guys.